To my channel, or if you're new, hello, my name is Emma. So in today's video we are discussing the absolutely thrilling topic of mind maps. For those of you who don't know, I did a degree in comparative literature. I really like mind maps, but this is very specifically a video about mind mapping for essay planning and essay preparation. This is not a video at all about mind mapping for revision, or that is a revision tactic for studying. That is not something I really have ever done successfully. Revising with a mind map works for a very specific kind of person, but I am not that person. But I am a very visual learner, so when it comes to planning an essay, which is very linear, I need me a mind map to be able to sort of sort through my ideas. So I thought I would share with you guys how I got mind mapping for essay prep to work for me really well, and just say how I incorporated that into my essay writing process. Hi guys, voiceover Emma here. So the very first thing I will absolutely always do when I'm mind mapping for an essay is I will write my essay question bang smack in the middle of my piece of paper, just so that you can always remember, like, is this relevant to what I'm doing? How useful is this? Can I actually link it back to what I actually need to talk about? Once I've done that, I will always write down 3 to 5 main topics that I want to cover in my essay. Everything will revolve around these things and how I link these things all back together, and especially back to the essay question. I try and space them out evenly around the page just because I don't know how much space I'm going to need with each idea. And point 1 for this video is that mind maps are not an artistic exercise, guys. As I like my little clouds, don't get me wrong, it helps me space things out mentally, but this is not an art exercise, okay? You see all of these Sharpies? You see them? Yeah, you don't need them. Get rid of them. And the highlighters. I'm sorry, they're very unnecessary. You need a biro and a highlighter. That's it. That's all you need. This is not an art exercise. Don't treat it like such. Let's be absolutely honest with this. You will end up procrastinating so much of your time because you're making it look beautiful. And as I've written down here, it is not about aesthetic. It is about utility. And everybody has clicked off this video because it's not what they wanted. I'm sorry, guys. This is just how it is. Especially for an essay, you're not going to keep this. You're probably going to chuck this in the bin later. You don't need to stick this up on a wall. Just get your ideas out. That is the point of this, and that is the only thing that is actually going to matter in this situation, not the nice color scheme you used to write all these ideas down. Take it from somebody who loves, like, all of the color schemes. This is just useless. But obviously do get a little bit of color in there if that is what's going to help you break things up, and just a few associations, but you don't need to go wild. There is no point. If you're using a mind map for an essay, it's always very early stages. You don't really know what's going on yet, so the main thing you want to focus on is getting all of your ideas out, just all on a piece of paper, so that you can see everything that you think you want to write about. It means that you can sort through your ideas. As a result, you really want to keep everything quite short at this point, so that you can just see everything that's going on. You have an overview really of what your ideas are, where you want to take everything, and then from there you can probably start planning your essay a bit better, because then at least you know what you think about the topic. Not that you're going to use everything, but it just means that you have some idea of what the hell is going on in your own brain, and maybe where some gaps are as well. The next thing that I find absolutely indispensable to doing a mind map versus a different kind of planning is that you can make direct links with everything, and you can see how your ideas all fit together. This is what I really love about it. So I like drawing little arrows everywhere and being like, oh my god, this can link to this, and this is a good transition to this, and this have so much to do with one another. And you can also very easily spot when you have an idea that doesn't link to anything else that you're writing about. And even if it was cool and you really wanted to talk about it and it is relevant to the question, if it's not relevant to everything else, it can be very tricky to link in, and it can make your essay structure feel a bit shoddy and a bit in the wrong place. But it's just such a great way of seeing, ah yes, this all links together, and in the end will just help you with your essay structure, because you can help figure out what the most logical flow is and the most logical transition for each section is, just because you know where the most connections are. The other thing about a mind map is that it allows you to think spatially. You can place ideas relative to one another in terms of how much they relate, in terms of how close they are, and then you can also see where maybe they overlap, and then maybe you should get rid of one, keep the other, maybe you should sort of make it the same thing. It just really helps in terms of, like I've said already, planning, overview, organization, but really about structure. Like I said, with the connections, you can see if things link up more closely, and then sometimes you can end up with little clusters of ideas around a bigger idea, and that really helps with knowing, yes, this all belongs together, this does, this doesn't, and just realizing, yes, this all works together, this all doesn't. If you're not entirely sure what I mean by that, what I do is I try and space things relative to how related I think they are. For example, I have B, and I choose to put B in between A and C because I think that as an idea is very much in the middle of the two, but also as a result, it links them up really nicely together. So as you can see, you can get a flow to what you're writing about because you're able to make connections and therefore everything flows nicely. And it'll help you work out the logical progression of your idea through the argument of your essay. And as you're doing all of this, as I said in the beginning of the video, just remember that you should always link things back to your essay question, which is why I put it in the middle. If things can't link back, then you do have a problem. If what you're thinking about doesn't link back to your essay question, why are you writing about it in the first place? This is a really, really great way if you're a visual learner. I'm looking at you dyslexics to plan essays. Essays are becoming very linear. I have always got in so much trouble about structure, about having bad structure. And this is really something I started doing towards the end of sixth form. So I've done it for the entirety of my degree. And it is one of the only ways that I can successfully get a good essay structure to work for me. Just because then by that point I already have all of my ideas and I can already see them in relation to each other, rather than being one of those people who just opens a blank document and starts typing. I don't know how people do that. I absolutely cannot do that. I have to plan an essay beforehand, and honestly, I have to do it like this. It's so I can see the most important of my ideas and how they all work together. Because if I can't see things working together, the structure just doesn't go anywhere, and my argument just disintegrates. And there you go. There is a mind map that is 100% more utility than it is beautiful. I know, she's not pretty, but my god, will she get the job done. So I hope that that was a very visual way of explaining to you guys how that I get mind maps to work for me in an essay planning situation. Like I said, this really doesn't work for me for revision. I've tried it before for revision, but I just get lost into trying to make everything pretty, which is also one of the reasons that I avoided exams like the absolute plague for my degree. I am absolutely not an exam person, I'm an essay person, and this is always the first step in trying to get my essay to come together. And another useful thing at any early point is popping the deadline somewhere on the page, maybe at the top, just to when you ever look back to it going, oh yeah, this is due in, you know, the 7th of December. So I hope that made some sense for you guys. Good luck with your essays, and back, oh my god, back to Emma in the studio. Okay, bye guys. So, I really hope that made sense to you guys. It really works for my brain so much when I'm getting ready to plan an essay, because I'm like, all of the ideas, just get all of your ideas out, and then you can kind of be like, okay, how is this all going to work together? Especially as, like I said, I always get done on the fact that my structure wasn't good enough. So this is how I've coped, and this is just kind of like getting it out here and on a piece of paper to be like, okay, this is my starting point. Like I promised, I do have some examples, but they're kind of difficult to put in the video themselves. So what I'm going to do is put them up on my website for if you guys want to have a proper look at them, and I will link that in a blog post down below. So I hope this helped. I hope you guys learned something getting ready for essay season as it is now. If this is the first video of mine you watched, hi, stay a while. There is a subscribe button down there somewhere. If you want any more study videos, I've done quite a few of these. I get far too much of a kick out of them. I've linked them in a place at the end and down below. Thank you very, very much for watching. Like, subscribe and all that jazz, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Especially. So I thought I was joking. So